Hey, I'm Jeff. I posted those videos when I got my new passport. I went on the little trip. Now, the whole reason I was in Albania early before that was because I needed a new passport. So I went to Albania because it was an easy place for me to get a new passport. And I'll go through that in a little bit, uh, probably another week or so. But I got my passport and I saw that cheap flight. So I went on that trip and just kind of bounced around, went some places I'd been wanting to go, and got to see some things I wanted to see. But I was really just kind of killing time because the whole trip I wanted to do needed a little more planning, a little more research, and had to be booked a little farther out just to get affordable prices. Because last minute bookings never really work out. And so I got back to Albania. I still had about a week before everything was going to kick in for the big trip I wanted to make. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to sit in the hotel, so I went on a road trip. I went on a bus trip. Now, my original plan was to go from Triana to Pogradesh to Korcha. From Korcha, there's a long, winding route that takes you down. Uh, I don't really know what cities to even highlight. Through Permet, through Girocast, and to Saranda. And then I wanted to go Saranda back to Triana and then catch my flight to Rome. But that didn't work out. So what happened is I got to Korcha and the bus going from from Korcha to Girocast wasn't real clear. They said, "Well, you go to this city and then from there you can catch a cab." Now it was early in the season, right? So some of these bus routes, some of these van routes are seasonal, and it was early in the season, and I didn't want to get caught just out in some little tiny because Permet, I think it's Permet. It's just this tiny little city. So I spent a few days, I think two or three nights in Korcha, and turned around and backtracked and went back to Triana and then bounced out. So the next few videos that are going to come are just like there's a time lapse. There's a day of me just farting around in Girocast, and then I've got some video from Korcha, not a whole lot, but it should be three or four again boring videos. But if you want to see a little bit of Pogradesh, you want to see a little bit of Korcha, and then the bus rides to and from, those will be coming up immediately in the immediate future. And then I've got a big trip before I went back to Albania, and then I've got a hopefully I'll catch up to where I'm at now eventually. But I am so slow at the editing thing; it just drives me crazy. Like sitting down today to try and get some of this editing done and push things out, and I end up just pushing out video that I look at it and there's like 3 or 4 more hours of editing I'd like to do, pulling clips, do this and do that. But at the end of the day, it's just you know I'm never gonna get to where I want to be. It's just too much work, and that's a realization I've come to over the last 3 years that to do the quality of videos I want to, I can't travel at the pace that I am. And if I want to do the quality of videos that I would like to put out, it just requires a lot less of living for me. So, and I watched, it was 2 years ago, I watched this couple and I've looked for their YouTube channel a few times. I've never found it again. But they did a video on how much time they spend on making videos and putting the videos out. And they weren't as good as, I always forget his name. Okay, Vagabond Awake. I was driving me crazy in my head while I'm trying to talk. I couldn't think of his name. Vagabond Awake, and I think hers is Hobo something. But Vagabond Awake is a channel I was thinking about. And so I'm watching this video 2 years ago, and it's this couple, and they're talking about how they do their travel videos. And they were doing like a slow travel 2 to 4 weeks in one location, and they would spend literally like 40 hours a week, 32 hours a week, or whatever on making their videos. And they were living off their videos, and it just kind of blew me away because their videos weren't great, right? They were good, they were very good, but they weren't like top shelf. And I looked at that. I'm like, wait, if you have two people spending, 32 hours a week on making videos, and that's what you're getting, it just really kind of set the reality bar for me that, traveling at the rate I am, or being as active as I want to be, or as I am, I'm never going to have those like great videos, right? And besides that, like I've got a pretty low EQ, I've got a pretty low charisma, so it's like I'm never going to be a great YouTuber. Never really wanted to be. I just want to record my adventures, my travels, and it's nice for me to go back and look at it. But even when I make the video for me to go back and look at, it's like there's so much more I'd like to do in the editing stuff, realm of that video, or I wish I would have reshot that, or I misspeak all the time. So it's never like a great thing. But anyway, my point is I'm going to pump out these videos. They're not going to be superstar videos. They will show you a little bit about Albania. They will talk a little bit about getting around Albania, and kind of show you just how easy it is, hopefully, to move around. Um, and then the next video series, once I leave Albania, gets a little exciting. Then I went back to Saranda. I didn't film much in Saranda. I just kind of, went to the beach a lot. you know, what else are you going to do in Saranda, right? Well, there's actually a lot to do in Saranda, but I just spent a lot of time at the beach, hanging with a few friends, and didn't even drink a lot of beer. I just drank a lot of coffee, drank a lot of water, um, and just did a lot of rest, relaxation, and stairs. The one thing you will do in Saranda is stairs. If you don't like stairs, don't go to Saranda. If you like stairs, Saranda is your place. There was this one lady, she was working out, total athlete, like total, almost looked like a pro athlete the way she was working out with the intensity. And it was so funny because there's a set of stairs when you leave the port and you come down the street to the promenade. There's a set of stairs, and most people only walk the bottom quarter of the stairs. The stairs go up the hill, but when I first got to Saranda, my first trip there in 2022, I was like, those stairs were the bane of my existence because I had to stop and catch a breather going up and down them. And then when I lived there at the end of 2022 and 2023, I would do those stairs all the time. I got to where I could two-step them, take two steps at a time, get to the top, and not be out of breath. And I felt so like happy with myself. And then this last trip I was there, the stairs are, I can still do stairs, not as good as I could a year ago or year and a half ago, whatever. But um, this gal, this lady, she was running those stairs, two-stepping them and running them. And she must have done 15, 20 reps on these stairs. And she would just, full sprint up them and just exploding up in them. I'm sitting there watching her run these stairs just in amazement. I mean, pro football player, explosive power, and this, young lady, she's just crushing the workout, right? And it was just so funny to me because, humbling. It took me back to when I was sitting there, like struggling to get up the stairs with only one break, right? Let me stop just once, and here's this lady just crushing them. But yeah, Saranda's got a lot of stairs, and I love it for that because you're not going to be a lazy bum in Saranda and get away with it. Everywhere you go, you're going to be stepping up or stepping down, and it's great. I got to tell you, it's great. You add that to the very low processed food. You add that to the sunshine. You add that to the weather. Dip your feet in the sea, do a little grounding, and it's a great place to get healthy and just relax and chill. And there's tons of people to meet and talk to. So I love Saranda. I'm going to stop rambling. So again, these next videos coming out will be about this bus trip. And, I'm not going to put it together in an organized thing. I'm just going to kind of slam these videos out and then come back with my flight to Rome and that little trip. And that's, again, going to be, pretty rushed editing experience. And there's just so much more I want to edit and push out. But, the editing time just takes forever. And It drives me nuts. Really drives me nuts. I wish I could streamline it. That, and you add in Apple's update to iMovie, just really screwed up the way I was using iMovie, and it makes it 5 times, 10 times slower than what it was. I don't know what they did or why they did what they did, but I know the effect is I need to learn to use DaVinci or something else, because it's just a nightmare. And trying to learn a new process for me when I'm in the, it's like I don't like to sit around and like, there's other things I want to do, right? There's a lot of other things I want to do. It's a big, beautiful world, and I want to get out there and see and do more of it. It's a little sandy today, but I'd rather be out there doing something fun than sitting at my computer. So it is what it is. But today I was out there. I was just outside about 20 minutes ago, and the wind is blowing so hard. It doesn't look like it from here, but I was blown away, like how strong the wind was, and it's like being in an oven out there. That hot, dry wind. It's probably, I don't know, I'm going to guess 42 to 44 degrees out, and the wind is just that hot, dry, with just enough sand that you feel it. Yeah, it's not fun outside right now. So I may as well sit and edit, right? Thanks for stopping by. I'll hopefully you come back. If you don't, enjoy. Have a great day. And maybe I'll see you around somewhere.